Knoxville National. They're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses, a man and machine. They're full wide. Green flag, showtime. The Knoxville Nationals are green.
Good evening there, everyone, and welcome to another night of racing here. Looks like we have to adjust some things. As
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Thunder and
get that to quiet off there for us. I didn't realize that I have a couple things here that need adjusted. We'll get them right away here. There we go. Now we're back in business there. All right. So we're here tonight with the Coast to Coast Racing Network, along with Fleeger Forum TV, bringing you the Thursday Night Thunder. Starting off with Full Throttle Motorsports Modified Division here tonight. They come here to Port Royal. Hopefully these drivers have what it takes to get around this racetrack in a decent manner here tonight. Just make sure that I got sound. I got sound. We are set to rock and roll here tonight. Qualifying about to take place, which looks like it is right now. Season about coming to the end. I believe next week is championship week. Points as it stands right now. Let's see if we can get points up here to list off to you guys. As points for Thursday night. They're gonna be. Come on now, give me the standings like I want. For the big block, or small block rather, we got Sam Bachman out front with 585 points. William Watson with 564. Dean Reynolds with 436. Brandon Templeton with 425. Brian Moore rounding out your top 5 of the points with 404. So that is your small block points. 358, however you want to list it. Now we see Mike Wheeler out there in the 66. Looks like we got about 15 drivers out here ready to take on the field, or ready to take on the race. Should have best time up there. You got Sam Bachman with an 18.867. Trevor Guru with an 18.961. Mike Wheeler with an 18.970. Rick Main with a 18.998. Brian Dickens there with a 19.004. John DeBay with a 19.114. We get ready here for the start of heat number 1. Waiting for him to come here to the grid. Here we go. Well, pace car out there, but I don't see any drivers yet. There we got one. There we go. Now for the grid. Starting grid here of heat number 1 for the Full Throttle Motorsport Dirt Modified Series. Kurt Schatzer out there in front. Brian Dickens there second. Mike Wheeler there third with Sam Bachman in fourth. Bob the Good there fifth. David Torminski there in sixth. Jeff Parker in seventh. And Clay Christopherson in eighth. That is your heat number 1 here. We're going to have 2 heats here in the 358s. Heat number 1, get ready for the start. And get ready, coming down here out of the corner. Pace car is off. Green flag is out, down and away. In the corner number 1 they go. Up there on the high side, that 122, Brian Dickens as they work here off of 2 down that back straightaway. Kurt Schatzer out front in that 218. Here comes that number 7 of Sam Bachman looking up there to the top side. The 122 down there on the inside. Drag race here off of 3. Real tight up there within the first 3. Top 3 drivers as they all storm down here in through 1 and 2. Back out here onto the backstretch. Everybody there trying to make sure everything stays nice and tight. There you see Bachman up there on the 3rd spot. Now he's going to dive down there off the corner. They're going to go possibly 3 wide down here in the corner number 1 with Schatzer up there in front. Here comes the 122. Bachman into the outside wall. Has to gather it back up. Down here, down through the backstretch. Look out. Bachman now going to the inside there of Dickens. Is Dickens there in the 122. 66 there. Mike Weeda is trying to get up there. He's number 4 on the scoreboard. And head down here in the corner number 3. Coming around in 4. There you see that 122 of Dickens trying to get up there. Here comes that 51 of Christopherson. He's looking underneath the Weeda if he can. As they work down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Schatzer out front leading the way in that 218. As you see, you got you got Christopherson back there. Down there on the bottom side now, they roll through 3 and 4. Trying to get underneath. And we got one up and over. That would have been the 513 of Jeff Barker. Unsure exactly what happened to him. We got 3 laps to go. We'll take a quick look at it between the sessions here. As they come here out of 3 and 4. Bachman there in a second. Dickens back here in third. Barker took one heck of a ride up and over top of the fence. They're out of turn number 3. Now they bring it on down back through the back stretch there. You see Kurt Schatzer up there in front. Bachman second. Dickens there in third as they all battle it out up here in the 358s. Coming down here through Port Royal. Down that front straightaway, here comes the 313 of Bob DeGood. He worked down there on the bottom side. I'm sorry, not Bob Good. That's the 313 of David Tomansky. Checker flag is out for Kurt Schatzer as he rolls down through the front straightaway. He'll get the victory here in heat number 1. Let's take a quick look back here as they're coming off the track before we get into the results. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened here to the 513 as he comes up here, comes into the corner. Well, we missed it. It took it away from us. And so we weren't able to see that, unfortunately. We got the results here of heat number 1. Gonna be Kurt Schatzer there getting the win. Sam Bachman second. Brian Dickens there third. Mike Weeda fourth. Clay Christopherson fifth. David Tomansky there in sixth. Bob DeGood seventh. Jeff Barker there in eighth. Now we start here with heat number 2. You got Billy Roberts out there on point. John DeBye second. Rick Main there starting third. Trevor Guru in fourth. Chad Lackey fifth. Matt Barber back there in sixth. And William Watson starting seventh. That is your heat number 2 lineup. He's driving to get set to rock and roll once again. Getting ready for the start of heat number 2. Off the corner they go. Everybody lined up. They are getting ready for the green flag. Here they go down in the corner number 1. Getting on that loud pedal. There you see the 66 of Billy Roberts down there on the inside. Now he ends up sliding up to the outside. Rick Main down there on the inside in that number 187, sorry. Work down there. You got, well, no, the 21 up and into the corner. That's John DeBye. Now he's got to try to gather it back up. He got shuffled up there and into the outside wall. 3 wide there for second through third. And you got the 91 there of Chad Lackey. Trevor Guru down there as well. And then you got the Rick Main in amongst that mix as well. Billy Roberts out front right now in that 66 machine. They come down here across the start-finish line. 6 laps to go here in heat number 2. Work here off of 3 down through the back stretch. You got the 91 there of Chad Lackey back there in fourth. Rick Main there in third. Matt Barber now making a run there on the inside, getting up there around Lackey. And getting around, Watson also getting around Chad Lackey. Chad Lackey falls back there into about 6th position. Matt Barber working there on the Matt Barber working down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Here comes Trevor Guru battling with Billy Roberts now for that front position. He threw a slide in there, couldn't quite get it to stick. Matt Barber there into 16 as they come here off of turn number 3, or come into turn number 3 rather. Down here off the back stretch, there you see Matt Barber down here on the inside. You got the 23, William Watson up there on top. Here they go, side by side for the lead between Roberts and Guru as they whirl down here into corner number 1. Rick Bain down there on the bottom side, squeezing it through is going to be Guru. Coming there down into corner number 3. Guru trying to get that slide up off of the bottom. Roberts end up into the outside wall, but it's going to power it down off the corner. He's going to get the lead. Going to be marked as the leader for that lap as they come here off. Here comes Trevor Guru trying to get that bike back once again. Down here into corner number 3 and 4. Here he goes. He's going to try to slide it up to 66. Billy Roberts going to cut down once again down here through the front straightaway. But this time, oh man, is it close. Down here into corner number 1. Roberts goes back to the lead. Trevor Guru now, he's going to try to fight back here, but 23 of Watson is there. That's going to probably seal it there unless Guru can somehow get the run off the corner. There's really tight, and there you go. Roberts around, but Watson there in second. Trevor Guru. Guru tried to check it up there behind Roberts, just could not get it done enough. So heat number 2 in the books. And you see Billy Roberts there getting the win. Trevor Guru in second. William Watson second. Trevor Guru there in third. Rick Bain fourth. Matt Barber fifth. Chad Lackey sixth. John Dubai in seventh. Thank you all for watching so far. We'll be right back after this short message here for the main feature.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and it got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash, found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken, I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. this last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life and it's the lives of racers everywhere is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, we're back here for the main event of the 358s here for the FTM Dirt Modified Series. Kurt Schatzer will lead us off here with the pole position. Billy Roberts there in second, Sam Buckman third, William Watson fourth, Brian Dickens fifth, Trevor Guru there sixth, Mike Guida in seventh, Rick Main in eighth. In ninth is Clink Rostarvison. You got the 10 there. In 10th is going to be Matt Barber. 11th, David Permansky. Chad Lackey rolls off tonight, starting 12th. In 13th, that's going to be Bob DeGood. And John DeBise starting 14th. In 15th tonight, that is Jeff Barker. Hey, drivers, get set to rock and roll here for the main event. Here with the 358s. Coming here off, Billy Roberts, as we said, out there on that front row, up there on the top side. Kurt Schatzer getting a win there in heat number 1. He's going to be starting on pole. Here we are here at Port Royal tonight.
Green flag, green flag.
Work down here off a corner. Kurt Schatzer out there in front. Billy Roberts there second. Sam Buckman third. William Watson fourth, fifth, and Brian Dickens here as they come off the corner. And they work down here up there on the top side. 23 of William Watson looked into the middle, had to back out of it a little bit. The 75 back here Trevor Guru struggling up there towards the top side a little bit. Looked like he was against the outside wall for a brief moment. They work down here with lap number 3 on the board here as they get through 1 and 2. There you see Bachman going out towards the lead. Now we got battles going on back here with Dubai. There you see him 3 wide there through the middle of turn 4. Back off through the front stretch. There you see that 75 of Guru trying to make his way up there towards the front. Up there towards the front though, here comes Bachman up there to the top side, trying to get that pass done. You got the 218 there, it fell back a little bit at Kurt Schatzer. He's up there towards the top side as they work here off of 4. Lonnie Bachman getting the lead here. As they all fight down here out of corner number 1 into 2, down through off of it, down the backstretch. 26 laps to go. Bachman out there in front. Billy Roberts now out front there as those two drivers really battle it out. We got the battle raging on there for 3rd and 4th as well. There between the 23 of William Watson and Matt Barber, the 122. I'm sorry, no, Matt Barber's in the 16. That's Brian Dickens and William Watson going at it. As they work down here out of corner number 3. In the 4, Dickens up there into the outside wall. That's going to allow Barber to get around. As they run down here into corner number 1 and 2. Bachman up there leading the way. You got the 218 there. Kurt Satcher looking to see if he can get underneath Brian Dickens. Does so. Dickens up there into the outside wall once again. Dropping back a couple more spots. And now Chad Lackey and Rick Main battle it out. There you see them almost 4 wide there with Christopherson on the bottom as they work there out of turn 2. Down through the backstretch. Sam Bachman still your leader as he comes there out of turn number 4. Up there on the high side, you got Billy Roberts down on the inside as they all storm down. Now they're all single file for the most part here. But no, Rick Main, he's trying to get underneath the Schatzer here out of turn 2. Rolling up there. Oh, man, I thought something went away. Give me a moment here. We'll be back with it. I don't know why that went away. They work down through the backstretch. Trying to get it to load up here, and it's not wanting to load in. They're working around here trying to figure out how many laps are left because our thing on my end looks like 20 laps to go as they all head down here. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to leave that up. As we head on down through here off the corner. In the corner number 1 and 2, back here off of 2, down that back straightaway. Chad Lackey there in 7th, William Watson out there in 3rd, Billy Roberts in 2nd, Bachman there out front. Chad Lackey here in 7th as they roll down through here. Now he said, unsure exactly why on my end I'm having issues, but it's not wanting to come up here, and I really don't want to shut things down for you guys as you're sitting there watching the race at the moment. 17 laps to go. We'll get it back up here in just a quick moment here. We're on with 16 laps to go. Off the corner they go. Billy Roberts out there in front. Coming here, 15 laps to go. He comes across the line. Ah, man, that's just not being helpful. And see him roll off here on the bottom. You got Matt Barber down there on the bottom side as well. And I see you guys have lost it on your end too. This thing tonight. Now we have 13 laps to go as they work here out of 4. Down through the start finish line. There you see Bachman on the backstretch. They're all working out here, trying to get things going. There we got it. Back up. 12 laps to go. Billy Roberts up there on the bottom side, getting around Watson. Watson now trying to battle back on the inside there. As you see them all come back out here on the bottom. 11 laps to go. Christopherson in 7th. You got that 91 up there working that inside lane underneath the Barber. That's Chad Lackey. Roberts working there on Watson. Watson up there on the top side. Bachman out front, pulling away now here with 10 laps to go. Caution out. Brian Dickens, Rick Main have crashed. Thought we almost were going to make the whole race there without a caution. Did not quite do it. Watching there. Looks. Now you see that Brian Dick. Oh! I think at 122 might be missing a wheel on the front. But I'm more concerned about Rick Mayne. He took one heck of a shot there at the start of all that. I don't know what caused him to get sideways. See if we can get a camera guy down on the infield to maybe give us a better view here. So it looks like he got caught up there on the outside wall. Coming here through 3 and 4. There you see him up there against the top side. And getting caught up there. And gets caught and then ends up sideways and just gets punted there down the front stretch into the corner number 1. Man, oh man, what a... That's not how he wanted to exit the race tonight. I'm quite certain of that. Rick Mayne back out here on track. Crew did a pretty fine job getting that car back together. And Billy Roberts up here sitting about 3rd. Trying to find out where the drivers are at. Got William Watson. Bachman's your leader. Christopherson back here sitting behind the 218. So he's sitting about, looks to be about 7th. Looks like at 187, Rick Mayne's going to come out here in about 13th. Glad to see Jeff Barker doing okay as he's out here in that 513. You saw the header he took going up and over that turn 3 and 4 wall in this heat race. Out here running out. Green flag back in the air. We're down here into corner number 1. Roberts now diving down there underneath of Watson. Can't quite get there, but here comes Matt Barber. Great start there for Bachman as Bachman gets back out there to the lead. Back on the bottom side comes the 16 there. Barber. He battled along beside Roberts. Getting around Roberts there for the moment as Roberts now battles back down there on the inside. In the corner number 3 and 4. They're going to battle it out there. As they come here off 4. Barber had to slide up. They're 3 wide coming off. We got the 7 up into the outside wall. And almost exactly the same thing happened. This time with John Dubai, Bob the Good, and possibly Mike Weeda. But they stay green. Up there through this corner goes Sam Bachman. Billy Roberts there in 3rd. Chad Lackey back here in 5th at 91. He's looking to see if he can get underneath Barber. Will do so, possibly. And work here off the corner. Barber now dives to the inside to get back underneath the 91. Has to watch his line. Does so. Great job there. Working there off the corner, back down here through the backstretch. In the corner number 3, as you watch Trevor Guru there on the outside in that number 75. Going down there to the inside now here through 1 and 2. Bachman out front still. You got Roberts there 3rd, Watson 2nd. And we got a great battle going on there between Christopherson and Barber, along with Guru and Lackey. Guru up on the top side, Lackey down here on the inside. Up there off of 2 down that back straightaway here going into 3. Now we got Lackey down there on the inside, as we said. Bachman out there in front, Watson there in 2nd. Roberts in 3rd. Now we see the 21 there of John Dubai not having the race that he was hoping for, as somebody there got caught into the outside wall around him. And they had to kind of check it up and rethink it all. As they work here off the corner, down into corner number 1. Billy Roberts there in 3rd. Final lap for Sam Bachman. He goes down the backstretch. William Watson there 2nd. Watching there, Bachman coming there through turn 3 and 4. Back out here across the line. He's got the win here with Watson there second. Guru, tight race there with Roberts. He will get third. Roberts gets fourth. Chad Lackey there fifth. We got him there. Now we'll see if we can get our results here. Sam Bachman out there gets the win. William Watson second. Trevor Guru third. Billy Roberts there fourth. Chad Lackey fifth. Clay Christopherson there sixth. Jeff Barker there seventh. David Trumansky there in eighth. Brian Dickens there ninth. Matt Barber in 10th. John Dubai 11th. Bob DeGood there 12th. Kurt Schatzer finishes in 13th. Rick Main in 14th. Mike Weeda in 15th. That is your finishing order here tonight. All right, here we go. Now let's see. Can we get with... Where's it at? Oh, man. What am I doing here? Something... Getting with the leaders now. Trying to see if we can get up there to check on Trevor Guru. Good evening here, Trevor. How's it going?
Good, yourself?
Well, it's going okay here. I'm assuming everything's working on the broadcast end.
I think it is. I was watching it a little bit ago.
Yeah, it seems to be. So, sometimes the monitor doesn't always click in, so I had to double check, make sure that so people can hear the driver interviews. And you did a great job out there getting that third place there. You had to battle Roberts there quite a bit to get it.
Yeah, man. It's I think on that restart there, I went from 7th or 8th or something like that to 3rd, and man, just that top was treacherous. Not a lot of guys were up there, and I was just kind of sending it, knowing I'd probably wreck and hit the wall, and I just kind of, yeah, man, I don't even know. It was, I like the top. I've said it before. That's where I'm comfortable, but at this track, it's really hard to run the top here. So the top was left open for the most part, and I was just hitting it. Had to throw a couple sliders and make it work, and it definitely worked. It was fast up there.
Yeah, we saw a couple drivers have issues, especially coming out of 4, that outside wall, reaching out and grabbing them.
Yeah, it was treacherous up there, man. It was rough. Like I think it was coming into 1. If you hit that bump going into 1 on the top, it was just putting you right in the wall. It was wasn't easy to run up there, and normally I don't really run the high side here at this track, and I couldn't do it yesterday here, and that was kind of my game plan going in, and tonight was hoping that the middle was going to be there, and it wasn't, so kind of was left no choice but to run the top, and man, it was I felt pretty good up there. It was comfortable enough. Hopefully it's comfortable enough for me in these next 2 races, but man, it was quick.
Yeah, the top lane did seem to be quick if you could hang on to it and run that line. It didn't seem like there was a whole lot of maneuverability up there, though. It's almost like you had to catch that top lane perfectly.
Yeah, you really did. It was kind of one of those deals where it's like, it was just so rough up there, and if you didn't get the car rotated enough through the bumps, it was just pushing you up into the wall, and you were just casing the wall with your right side. So you kind of had to make sure you were rotated enough before you were getting on the gas, and then before you were in the middle of the corner. Otherwise, you were just pushing, and you saw quite a few guys do that. It's just this track, man. It's not easy to do. I mean, guys like Sam and William here, they're just good at it. Like, it's just lots of practice, and I've got a lot of learning to do here at this track. I don't run here much, but it's definitely not a bad track. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and anytime you go out there and can get a podium, it's always a great night.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially when you kind of think, 20, 25 laps in, and you're running 10th, 8th, whatever it was, and you're kind of like, okay, I'll settle for a top 10, and all of a sudden the caution comes out and you're passing cars, and here I am in third. So we'll definitely take it.
All right, you got sponsor shout outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting that third place tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to apologize to Billy Roberts. I got into him in the heat race there. I did not mean to get him sideways. I kind of wanted to just push him past the 23 so I could try and get second, but I was just too much on his left recorder panel and got him sideways. I'm glad he still hung on for the win. Apologize there, and then on the white flag lap, I think I accidentally doored him, just hitting some bumps on the high side going down the front stretch, and I didn't mean to get into him, so apologize to Billy. But other than that, just got to thank all the guys at FTM. I mean, we swept swept the 358s tonight. Hopefully we can do the same for the big blocks and pro late. So shout out all the guys at FTM. Shout out Big Tim Race Wraps for the new wrap tonight. Shout out to Expert Installations, Castleberry Flagstone, Swan Speed Shop, Dean Reynolds with the Super Dirt Car Series, everyone who puts this stuff on for us, you for the broadcast. Yeah, looking forward to these next few races.
Hey, we look forward to it as well. And good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that was Trevor Guru, our third place finisher. Now we'll get with our second place finisher, William Watson. Good evening there, Watson. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
It's going. You got a second to start tonight, so not too bad on your end, it seems like.
No, it's not too bad. No, it's a good little race there. It was kind of boring at the end, so we got spread out. But Sam was fast. I couldn't catch him.
I mean, you had a great race, and definitely a lot of racing went on here tonight until you guys did get kind of spread out a little bit. But, I mean, coming in, did you like the way the track felt, or did you have to kind of learn it as the night went on?
No, I mean, it was racy everywhere. I mean, the bottom, you seen Billy Roberts right there was holding his own down there towards mid-bottom. The line was up at the top, though. You got up on 3 and 4. As long as you could keep it out of the wall. Even sometimes when you hit the wall, like tapped it, it was just fast. So, I mean, like it stuck. 1 and 2, it started out as a slider, then went up to the wall, but the bumps up there were really sketchy. So, you really had to know what you was doing when you entered in the starting of the corner.
Yeah, we heard from Guru that the bumps up on the top side were something to be kind of, you had to know kind of what you were doing up there to run that top side.
Yeah, I mean, you run it a couple times, you'll figure it out. You hit the bump, you set the car into the corner. Sometimes I turn out before I ever turn in and get the car like more sideways than on the entrance. But skip over the bumps and then get back into it. The car just will squat down, catch that burn and go.
Yeah, I mean, you did a great job there. You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for second place here tonight?
Yeah, teammates at FTM, Swan Speed Shops, Dupro Performance, Scriptex.com, Indy Dirt Car Series, Vortex Graphics for wraps, sponsorship, and let's see, Shaggy TV, Coast to Coast, and you for broadcast.
Alrighty, well, great job here so far here at Coast to Coast Racing Network. Proud to put it on, and can't wait to see how the rest of your night goes.
I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, that was William Watson, our second place driver. Now we'll get with Sam Bachman, our winner. Good evening there, Sam. How's Victory Lane feel tonight?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Whenever you finish up front, I guess.
Well, we know you were running that top side. What did you think of the roughness of the top side tonight?
Well, it's pretty rough if you don't hit it right. I noticed 1 and 2, you really gotta be up pretty high to get over the bump in the corner. And if you can get over the bump in the corner in 1 and 2, you're pretty much golden. And then 3 and 4, it's just pretty much not getting tight, trying to keep the car turned.
Do you think them bumps are going to be something to be reckoned with all night long?
Maybe. This is probably one of my favorite tracks here. I guess we'll have to see what the big blocks and pro late models do.
Yeah, I mean, I know with them pro late models, them bumps can sometimes throw them off. So it'll be interesting to see as the night wears on here, how the track plays out for them. I know we reset it kind of between each series, so it'll be interesting to see how you guys wear it in per series.
Oh yeah, just best thing you can do is just try to keep the car out of the wall when you're on the top side and keep it straight and turned.
Yeah, and that seemed to be the trick here, especially in the 358s. We saw a few drivers have issues keeping it out of that wall, especially coming out of turn 4.
I noticed right after that last caution, I started getting really tight. I had my right front on the whole time, but I turned it off those last like 8 laps because I was getting super tight running into the wall in 3 and 4. It helped out a little bit.
Alrighty, well, congrats on getting that victory here in the 358s. You got anybody you want to thank, shout-outs, sponsors, anybody like that? You need to make sure it gets recognition for helping you get up there into that victory lane spot right now?
Oh yeah, the boys over at FTM, Gunnar and Swan Speed Shop, he's really been working hard on the dig. Dean over at Super Dare Car Series, Expert Installation, Flieger, you for doing the broadcast, Coast to Coast, and Vertex Graphics.
Alrighty, well, congrats again, and good luck as the night wears on here. We'll see how well you can do.
Thank you.
Alright, so that was Sam Bachman, our winner here in the 358s. We will be back here once again racing shortly with the big blocks, so don't go anywhere.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a
hiatus, so let's get. Tonight when we talked about it,
these dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, we're back here at the racetrack, getting ready for the night here. Big blocks here with the Full Throttle Motorsports. Yeah, we're working around here. Soon start qualifying, possibly. Yeah, they head on down here in the corner number 3 and 4. There you see them in 1 and 2. Shots are there. They did call it there. Checker flag out for practice. Qualifying soon to begin. There you see the 2:13 of Michael Vitelli out there on track. Time's down there at the bottom of your screen if you're wanting to watch along there. We head down here in the corner number 1. You see the 2:13 there working there off the corner, back out there onto the front stretch. Or I'm sorry, onto the back stretch rather. Down here in the 3 and 4 comes Vitelli. Up there against the top, down here in the corner number 1. Billy Roberts, right now your quickest out there on track with an 18.938. As they work off here onto the front stretch here, Vitelli trying to see if he got any quicker. And he did with an 18.945. Fastest one out there, though, is Jeff Barker in that 5.13. He's heading around here. There you see Sam Bachman. He's coming out on track now, up there against that high side once again. Ran the high side there through the 358s. Slinging it there through the bottom. Throwing it down there. Bachman there with an 18.871. As we said, Barker there with a 18.688. Christopherson and Watson have not qualified. There we go. They're coming out here. For heat number 1, here is your heat. Only one heat as we only got 10 drivers. Michael Vitelli out there in front. Billy Roberts there second. Sam Bachman third. Jeff Barker in fourth. You got Trevor Guru there fifth. Bob DeGood there sixth. Kurt Schatzer seventh. John DeBay in eighth. William Watson ninth. Clay Christopherson there in 10th. As we get set here to rock and roll out of heat number 1 here, or the heat race rather, for your big blocks. Thank you again for everybody that tunes in here to Coast Racing Network and over at Pleager Farm TV. Watching there for the On the Pole episode tonight. Thursday Night Thunder from Coast to Coast. Heat 1, if it's still right, is brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. Not sure if that is completely correct or not. That is something I would like to maybe see updated for us broadcasters here at Coast to Coast. Making sure that we have all the updated information for the current league sponsors. And they hit out of turn number 2 down that back straightaway. Got 1.5 laps before they go green. I'm trying to figure out where. Okay, there's the entrance to pit road. I knew Port Royal had a trouble spot for the pit road, just was unsure of it. Head down here into corner number 1. That pace car will pull off once it gets to the middle of that backstretch. That'll release the field here under their own power pretty much to get around 3 and 4. There goes Fred, bringing that pace car down. The drivers now still have to maintain that pace speed. They hit off down here in through turn 3 and 4. Back out here onto the front stretch. 8 laps going to be the distance. 2:13 of Michael Vitelli, your control car. And down here in the corner number 1 they go. Vitelli down there on the bottom side. Here comes Trevor Guru. He's working that bottom side as well, trying to get up there. We know Bachman likes that outside if he can get up there to hang with it. And there goes the 66 up there as well, Billy Roberts. Nobody up there towards the top side yet, as we're only in the heat race. Down there through the middle of 1 and 2. 2:13 of Vitelli down there on the bottom side. Bachman there in 3rd. Guru there in 2nd as Guru looks to the bottom side of Vitelli, working there off the bottom. And that might be the thing here. With these big blocks, they might have a little bit better power to get up off that bottom side and over them 358. So that is something to watch as we get going here in the big block modifieds. As you see, Guru down there on the bottom side making that work. Bachman now making that bottom side work. As you got that 23 of Watson way up there against that outside wall. As they work down here through turn 1 and 2 once again. Still battling it out here. Hey, driver go down the back stretch. You see there the 66 of Billy Roberts. Now we jump back a little bit there to Chris Robertson. Now they're back up here around the number 66, around the 513. There you see the 218 of Kurt Schatzer looking underneath the 66 of Roberts. Not quite there yet, though, as they roll down the back stretch. Vitelli trying to get up there to Bachman. Right now, Guru out front in that number 75 as they roll down through the front stretch once again. Here comes that 513 looking underneath of the 66 of Roberts. As we roll here out of 2 down that back straightaway. Barker not giving up yet as he dives it back in again once here in the turn number 3. Looking to see if he can get that bottom side to hang with it. Cannot quite do so as they roll here off of turn number 4. Down through the front straightaway. 2 laps to go. Watson getting around Christopherson back here as he threw the slide drop. Christopherson now goes back to the inside. Working down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Christopherson down there on the inside. Going to try to pull it off there on the inside around Watson. They're going to mark that. 1 lap to go here for Trevor Guru. Out front, you got the 7 of Bachman in second as they come there off the corner. You got the 213 of Vitelli coming there off of turn 3 as well. Here they go, all single file off of turn 4. Watson getting into the back of Christopherson. That is your heat number 1. Results for heat number 1 are as follows. Trevor Guru there out front. Sam Bachman there second. Michael Vitelli third. Billy Roberts fourth. Jeff Barker fifth. Kurt Schatzer sixth. Clay Christopherson there seventh. William Watson 8th. John Dubai 9th. Bob DeGood there in 10th. And we'll be back once again after the warm-ups.
These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive, so having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback. and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they've done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life and it's the lives of racers everywhere is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, we are back here. Here is your grid here for the main event of the big blocks. You got Trevor Garreau out there in front, Sam Bachman second, Michael Vitale there third, Billy Roberts in fourth, Jeff Barker in fifth, Kurt Satcher sixth, Clay Christopherson there seventh, William Watson there eighth, John DeBay in ninth, and Bob DeGood in 10th. You're getting ready here for the start. Lead driver really anxious to see how they'll finish out tonight. And we'll give you a rundown of the points here in a quick moment. Rundown of the points in your big blocks. And going to be Sam Bachman ahead with 583. William Watson in second with 538. Dean Reynolds in third with 446. Jeff Barker with 437. And rounding out your top five is Trevor Garreau with 407. So right now, Sam Bachman leads the top of the point standings in both the 358s and the big blocks. And trying to keep it that way. And we'll look at the Pro Late Model ones once we get to those later tonight. As they work down here out of the corner in the corner number one. Trevor Garreau out there in front. Sam Bachman there second. Michael Vitale on the bottom side there in third. Here comes the 66 of Roberts working up there on the top side. But he's got the 513 of Jeff Barker trying to get up there with them as well as they work here off of turn number 3, back around onto the front stretch. And Garreau 1 and 2. Bachman down there on the inside. Garreau up there on the top side. Vitale back there in third, but we got the battle going on. Bachman going up there, sliding it in. Here comes Garreau to the bottom side. Going to try to do the crossover. Does not quite have enough there to do it. Garreau down there on the bottom side, just a little bit lower than what Bachman is. Coming there off of corner number 2, down here into corner number 3 and 4. Garreau now goes there on the bottom side. Bachman goes up there up high. Drag race here off the corner. There must be something a little bit on the bottom side for Garreau to get a little bit of grip down there. You see Bachman trying to battle it back on the outside. Bachman and Garreau battle it out 1-2 out there on the front row. Here comes Jeff Barker in at 513. He's looking underneath of Michael Vitale, who's running third right now down here in the corner number 1. Bachman up there against that outside, and you can see just how rough that track kind of is up there on the outside. Just look at that 007 bounce around. They're up there on the top side, up against that outside wall. Garreau down there on the bottom side, making that bottom work. You got Michael Vitale there in third. Jeff Barker down there for Can-Am Racing on the bottom side. Michael Vitale for Vitale Motorsports, working there through the middle of turn 3 and 4. Down there on the bottom side, it's still Trevor Garreau, but Sam Bachman gets a grip up there on the top side and gets that car to pull along there. As Garreau still fights there on the bottom side. Now Garreau has to probably get up there and try to run a little bit different line. Bachman's getting that top side figured out. Here they go down off of turn 4. Bachman out there, getting up there in that outside wall just a little bit. Michael Vitale working there in third. Barker on the inside. Barker trying to get that bottom side to work for him as they gather it up down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Vitale sliding it up to the top rail. And works here off of 4, down here across the start-finish line. Billy Roberts back here in 5th. Christopherson back here 6th. He's gaining on Roberts as they work down there out of 2. Vitale and Barker still going at it. As you see Guru up there in the top side. Sitting there second, 22 laps to go here as they all work off of the corner. Down through the front straightaway, there you see John DeBye struggling a little bit here tonight as they work down off of the corner, down that back straightaway. You got the 075 there, Trevor Guru, Michael Vitale there 3rd, Jeff Barker in 4th, Clay Christopherson there 5th, Billy Roberts there 6th. They work on down here off of the start-finish line in the corner number 1. Up there to the outside goes the 7 of Bachman. Now you watch them work on down through here. Michael Vitale in 3rd. Jeff Barker in 4th. Clay Christopherson there 5th. Billy Roberts in 6th. They work on down here off the corner. Hey, driver doing everything possible. Bachman up there, as we said, in 1st. Trevor Guru there in 2nd. Vitale there 3rd. Barker there in 4th. Christopherson there 5th. Great job here tonight so far by these drivers. Putting on quite the show here for you at Coast to Coast Racing Network. And they head on down here out of the corner number 4. Bachman out there in front. Guru there 2nd. 3 wide there for 3rd through 5th as Christopherson gets it up there in the 4th, trying to get up to 3rd underneath of Vitale. Here comes that 23 of Watson, who's 2nd in points right now, trying to work his way up through the field, trying to make sure he can kind of gain a little bit on the points. Had to kind of back off a little bit there as he ran up on the back of Vitale. Got underneath him now down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Working there off the corner, 16 laps to go. Bachman up there leading the race with Guru there in 2nd. Christopherson there 3rd. Watson there 4th. Michael Vitale back here in 5th. Jeff Barker 6th. Billy Roberts there in 7th with John DeBye in 8th. Bob DeGood in 9th. And you see it all hang out here in the corner number 1. Kurt Schatzer, unfortunately, he is out in that 218. As we'll take a quick look at it here. 14 laps to go. Kurt Schatzer had issues, ended up crashing. Now you see up there's that 66 up there along the top. The 218 down there on the bottom side, coming there off the corner. And he'll bring it there down on a pit road. So unfortunately there for the 218, unsure what happened to him. It looks like he had to call it there mid-race and dive it down there on the pit road. Now you're looking at Christopherson out there in 3rd. Watson there 4th. Vitale 5th as you got Guru and Bachman out front. Bachman running away now. Guru trying to chase him back down. Watson there 3rd. Clay Christopherson 4th. Vitale's back here 5th. Watson up against that outside wall. Saw a few sparks come off the back as Christopherson's working there on the bottom side trying to get that to work. Here comes Jeff Barker looking underneath of Vitale. Can't quite get there. Vitale, he's looking underneath of Christopherson. Everybody here so far tonight working down here through turns 3 and 4 back out here onto the front straightaway. Now you got that 23 there. You got the 51 as well. That's Christopherson. Watson up there in 3rd. Guru there 2nd. Head off here in the next corner. 9 laps to go here with the big block modifieds. Trevor Guru in 2nd. Watson 3rd. Christopherson there 4th. Christopherson trying to chase down Watson. Watson's out there in 3rd. Nobody really has anything for the top 2 at the moment. Barger looking to the inside of Vitale once again. Cannot quite get there. but is still trying to get that race to happen. As down there on the inside once again, just can't seem to get that drive off the corner he needs to get up there to battle Vitale for that 5th spot. But he's making it work everything he can down there on the bottom side. There, Thompson in for it. Watson there 3rd. Carew 2nd with Bachman out there in front. Coming there through turn 3 and 4. Up there through the bumps. Down here off of 4. Across the start-finish line. 6 laps to go for Full Throttle Motorsports, Sam Bachman. Trevor Carew for Full Throttle Motorsports as well, along with William Watson. Once again, out here getting the top 3 in the modified divisions. Full Throttle Motorsports sponsoring the big block modified, or sponsoring the dirt modifieds here this night. They keep heading on down through here off the corner. Watson up there at the top. Vitale down there working off the corners, trying to keep an ear to the back to listen for Jeff Barker to see if he's making any type of run as he's trying to gain on Christopherson. Christopherson's lost ground on Watson. Watson there in 3rd, as we said, as you got Trevor Carew up there in 2nd, Barker out there, Bachman out there in front. Working that through 1 and 2, trying to figure out what these drivers need to do. They're trying to find that grip anywhere they can. Down that back straightaway, the 213, Michael Vitale going underneath. Here they work here off of turn number 4. Back out onto the front stretch. Carew up here 2nd. There, Christopherson got around. Vitale's trying to get around Christopherson. Barker's still hanging out back here in 6th. Up there to the top side is the 23 of William Watson. They work off the corner. Christopherson for Full Throttle Motorsports. Working there down the back stretch. And here comes Vitale. He's working down there. Checker flag is out for Sam Bachman. Carew and Watson getting the win here in your big block mods. They work their way back around here. You see Bachman pulling it into the pits there. There you see victory lane there for Sam Bachman. Trevor Carew and William Watson. Great job by those drivers. Getting here, William Watson once again. 3rd place this time. Good evening here, William. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
It's going well. Well, you got 3rd place this time in the big blocks.
Yeah, me and Clay battled there for a little while. It was hard to get around, and once that happened, I had to find the line that they were running, which they were running top 1 and 2, and I did not like it at all. I was just doing like a mild slider cut down. It was starting to hook up. I could see I was pulling away from Clay by doing that, so I just stuck with that for most of the time.
Yeah, that top side we heard is going to be a little bit of a rough ride here tonight.
Yeah, especially going all of one. All of one is just from the top to the bottom. You can even go down to the bottom of the track and still feel it.
So it'll be interesting when we get into the Pro Late models and exactly how it's going to play out.
Yeah, they're a little longer of a car. It might take a little bit of the bumps away. We'll have to see though.
Well, you did a great job, and the cars look great out there. Just unfortunately, you couldn't quite chase down Guru up there for second place. But, I mean, FTM pulled off the top three once again here tonight. And you got first, second, third in the 358s. And you got first, second, third here in the big blocks.
Yeah, good night. Did you finish it out?
Well, you got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting victory here, or not getting the podium here in the big blocks?
Yeah, teammates at Swan Speed Shops, Dupro Performance, GripPacks.com. I said teammates at Swan Speed Shops, teammates at FDM, Swan Speed Shops, Dupro Performance, GripPacks.com, Deep Dirt Car Series, Vortex Graphics for the Wrap, Shaggy TV, Coast to Coast, and you for broadcasting.
Alrighty, well, congrats and great job out there. We'll see you in the pro late models and see how well that goes for you, so good luck.
That sounds good, thank you.
All right, that was William Watson, our third place winner here in the big blocks. Now we're going to get with Trevor Guru. Good evening here, Guru. How's it going?
Good, yourself?
It's going pretty well. How's that 75T feel after that race?
Pretty good. I mean, led some laps, finished second, so, you know, really can't complain with that at all.
I mean, you look good out there, just unfortunately you didn't quite have enough to chase down the points leader and leader of this race, Sam Bachman.
Yeah, man, he's got this place figured out like nobody else. It's just one of those things. I mean, Sam's just so damn good at running the top here. He can run higher than anybody else, and that's just the difference maker, I think, and he's obviously an incredible driver everywhere else, and it's just, you know, everyone's got those couple of tracks that they're insanely good at, and man, I think this is one for Sam, so yeah, props to him, man. It's just that when you got a place figured out, you got it figured out, and he certainly's got this place figured out, so yeah, props to him.
He's got to figure it out, bumps and all.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm telling you, it takes talent to drive through the bumps like that, man, and still be fast and not really get into the wall much. It's tough.
Yeah, we heard those bumps were a factor through the 358s. How much more of a factor was it here in the big blocks?
Honestly, I thought the track was a little rougher for the big blocks. I mean, some other guys may tell you different, but it was just easier to drive through them because you have more power, I find. Whereas the 358s, you hit the bumps and you'll bog a little bit and you'll push up pretty easily. Whereas these cars, you hit bumps and start pushing, and then you just get on the gas a little more and you kind of power through it, if that makes sense. It's just, yeah, it's kind of hard to, maybe it doesn't make sense, but it was just much easier to contain them and with a little bit more power.
You got to be a dirt track racer to understand what you're talking about, which I do understand what you're saying, because I was thinking the same thing. The more it might feel worse being the speeds that you're at are a little bit more, I think, in the big blocks. But like you said, you got that horsepower to try to push you through them bumps a little differently than you do on them 358s.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just one of those things where once you get a little more power under the hood, it's kind of easier because you can, when you're going into say 1 and 2 and you're hitting those bumps, well, you're almost wide open. So I mean, you're spinning the tires through those bumps instead of, whereas the 358s, you're kind of, the right gear is hooking them so hard, and then there's just not a lot of power, and sometimes you're losing a lot of momentum being up there, but it's still fast either way.
Yeah, you look great out there, as we said. You got sponsor shout-outs. Anybody you want to thank for getting that second place here in the big block division?
Yeah, just got to give a shout-out to all the guys at FTM, of course. Big Tim Race Wraps, Dean Reynolds with the Super Dirt Car Series, Expert Installation, Sam Wakanda Sets. Everyone who puts this stuff on for us, it's awesome running this league. And thank you, Fleer, for broadcasting for us. Every single race I'm in, I always watch it back, and we appreciate you broadcasting this stuff for us, and see what we can do in the pro lates here. Kind of rooting for Sam to get the sweep.
Alrighty, well, not too many drivers can get the sweep, as we saw last week. I forget which driver tried and come up one short.
Yeah, it was me, unfortunately.
Well, we'll see if Sam can pull it off. He definitely has it figured out so far. We'll see if the Pro Late Models is the same way. Well, congrats again there, Trevor, and we'll see what the Pro Lates have in store for you. Good luck.
Thanks, Leaguer. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Sam Bachman. Now we'll get with our winner here of the night, Sam Bachman. Yeah, good evening once again there, Sam.
How's it going?
It's going well. You going for the sweep here in the Pro Late Models?
Yeah, guess we'll try. I mean, Trevor or Bart will probably have win it or whatever. They're pretty quick in the late models. I'm not the best at them.
So you don't think you're going to get the sweep here tonight, even though, you know, your teammates are telling me they think you got this track figured out tonight?
I mean, I might got the track figured out, but big blocks and 358s are kind of our thing. For me, at least, and I've been slowly getting into the late models lately and been getting better, but I guess we'll just have to see.
Alrighty, well, we'll see how it goes here. You look like you had that top lane working there for most of it. How'd you think the bumps felt this race?
It seemed like it was a little more worse than 1 and 2. It seemed like you really had to get up really high compared to the 358s, and I just think that bigger motor and the tires or whatever eating up that bump a little bit more, so it got a little bigger. But other than that, felt pretty good until I started getting in the wall in 3 and 4, and I had to turn my right front off or whatever to help me turn a little better.
Alrighty, well, congrats there again to get that victory. You got sponsor shout-outs, anyone you want to thank for getting that big block victory here tonight?
Oh yeah, all the boys over at FTM, Gunnar Swan Speed Shop, he's really been working hard. Dean over at Super Dirt Car Series, Expert Installation, Vertex Graphics, obviously Flieger for doing the broadcast, and Coast to Coast.
Alright, look forward to it. Good luck in the big blocks coming up, in the Pro Late Models coming up here.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so that was Sam Bachman, our winner here in the big blocks. We'll be back here shortly with the Pro Late Models. So don't go anywhere. Pro Late Models coming up next here at Flieger Farm TV and Coast to Coast Racing Network.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight we'll be we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. In the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
All right, here we are back at the racetrack, ready to go here for the night. We watched last little bit of practice here. You got the 146, Jason Coffey out there on the top side, trying to figure that car out, try to figure out what he needs to do to get that car to rotate the best it can. And we see here, got some great looking cars out there as well. We got Joseph Grande out there in the 518. Pat Boyce there in the 41 with a 17.935. So we'll see exactly how these times stack up through qualifying. Whenever we get to qualifying. Possibly 2 heats here. All right, say Sean Fry come out and then go back in. Qualifying underway here for the Pro Late Models. They got the 146 of Jason Coffey out there in front. Up there through turn 3 and 4, Pat Boyce there. Down on the inside, coming off of 4, down across stripe, starting his time. As they roll down here through turn 1 and 2. Heading off onto the backstretch, up there against the outside wall, not quite there. They roll down here through the backstretch. Into 3 and 4, back out here onto the front. Joseph Grundy with an 18.090. See where Grundy Boyce gets a 19.070. Joseph Grundy with an 18.090 for your quick time right now. Rick Main with an 18.188. Here comes Boyce once again. Grundy out there, he laid down a 17.945 in that 518. Sam Bachman with a in that 007 lays down an 18.177. Watson, 18.170. Now they roll here off. Got just a couple more that need to qualify. Sean Fry out there, he's got an 18.742. Jeff Barger with a 18.472 for him. Guru, he clocks in with an 18.223. Heat number 1, as it did split them into 2 different heats. Here we go. Pat Boyce out there in front. Trevor Guru in second. Sam Bachman there in third with Joseph Grundy in fourth. Sean Fry there in fifth with Jason Coffey in sixth. Oh, your 6 drivers here in heat number 1. Going to get interesting here as it goes on. 8 laps of distance. Come on now. Cooperate, will you? Or not. There we go. Now it works. They work there off of 2 down that back straightaway. Got a lap and a half before they take to the green. Okay, see them all working down here out of corner number 3 and 4. Here they go, off of turn number 3 into 4. 8 laps of distance here as they come to the line. 6 drivers out here to fight for their positions for the main event. Down and away in the corner number 1. Pat Boyce out front, getting ahead of Trevor Guru. Guru up there to the high side, hang on. Whoa, man, 941 getting loose. Has to check it up. Had to really bring it up to the end there. Trying to get it back on the way. Here comes the 518 of Joseph Grundy looking to the inside of Sam Bachman. They work down through that back straightaway. We know Grundy had the best time out there as he starting here. He started fourth here in the heat, but had the best qualifying time here as they worked through turn 1 and 2. Bachman down there on the inside, Guru up there at the top side. Down here in the corner, number 1, in the 3 and 4 they go. Grundy out front, 6 laps to go. We got 5 to go now here in heat number 1 as they roll on back around here. Grundy back out there in front. Guru there in second. Bachman there third. Sean there in fourth. Pat Boyce there in fifth. Joseph Grundy in sixth as they come on out here. Down across the inside, you got the 75 there of Guru. And he's down on the bottom side, coming there off. Up there towards the top, Trevor Guru in second. Sam Bachman there in... Now Sam's now up to second as Guru's up there against that top side. Now here comes Trevor. He's looking to the inside again. Now those two battle it out back and forth here as Grundy's out front, pulling away from these two as these two battle it out side by side down here in the corner number 3 once again. But don't look too far at Thunder Valley Racing number 8 of Sean Fry. He's getting himself up there in that battle as well as he works there underneath of Bachman. Bachman trying to hang on there as much as he can as Guru got around him up there on the top side. Here comes Bachman now. He's going to try to whirl that top side up there against the top. Curious to know how rough it is this time as they roll down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Final time here for the heat. We come off of 2 down in the corner number 3. Grundy out there in front, laying it down. Here for heat number 1, comes off, gets the win here in heat number 1. Trevor Guru second, Bachman there third, Sean Fry up there in fourth. Pat Boyce fifth, Jason Coffey in sixth. All right, here you go. And winners of Heat 1. Joseph Grundy there in front. Trevor Guru there second. Sam Bachman third. Sean Fry fourth. Pat Boyce there fifth. Jason Coffey in sixth. All right, here in Heat number 2, here is your grid. John DeBye in front. Jeff Barker second. Rick Main there third. William Watson fourth, Clay Christopherson fifth. Bob DeGood rounds out your field of 6 here in heat number 2. All right, here we go. Getting ready for the start. Green flag in the air. John DeBye as your leader. Out there in that number 21 down there on the inside. Here comes Jeff Barker up there on the outside. What a great run there. Here comes the 187 of Rick Main. He's working down there. Now we saw in the heat number 1, the leader ends up shoving back. And look out, Christopherson into the outside wall. Not sure where Bob DeGood is, as Bob DeGood did not come here into the grid. John DeBye trying to gather it back up out there in front. Rick Main, Christopherson back here in fourth. Here comes Watson now to the inside, getting around Christopherson. Barker back here to third as Watson battles it out there. Working down here in the corner number 1 and 2. The 23 of Watson sliding up in front of the 513 of Barker. And we watch him come down through here. Maine, what a run here he's got going as he works there off of 4 down here in the corner number 1 in that 187. Great job so far for Rick Maine. As Clay Christopherson's back here battling with William Watson for second. Yeah, come on down through here off of the corner. Horizon Sim Sport driver Rick Maine out front. Christopherson there in third now as Watson gets back around him down there on the inside. Clay Christopherson there third. Jeff Barker back here in fourth. As they work here off a turn 4, back out onto the front straightaway, 4 to go here in heat number 2. Bob the Good is out, as we said, down here through off of corner number 2, down that back straightaway. Watson trying to get up there to battle Christopherson once again. Jeff Barker back here in fourth to buy their fifth. Bob the Good back here is out. Down here, through 1 and 2, Christopherson slowly catching on our leader, Rick Maine, as well as Watson. They're all three gathering it up here, trying to figure out what lane momentum to grab. Hanging it down there, Christopherson stuck there in the middle. Watson up into the outside wall, coming there off of 4. Christopherson now down there on the inside. He's going to give Rick Maine a run here. Can't quite get there. Now they come down into corner number 3 and 4. Final lap here. Christopherson was there. Rick Maine sliding up off. That might be what Christopherson needed. It's going to be close to the line. And it's going to be Rick Maine getting that win by .001 or something like that. .00 something. .00 something. We got the results coming in here for heat number 2. There it is. .002. Gap between Rick Maine and Clay Christopherson for Maine to get the win. Watson there in third, Barker fourth, John Dubai fifth. Bob the Good did not come out. Warm-ups are underway here. I'm sorry, I forgot. I didn't realize we had that up there. Oh, I'm sorry there. Ah.
Knock, you there, Adam?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, just want a quick pronunciation correction. C-E-A-N is actually Kean.
Yeah, that's right. I see that here on my live chat. I just noticed it.
Okay.
Thank you. So it's Kean. I was gonna pronounce it Keen.
yeah, that's all right. Kean, like throw anything that's got a K or else not.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Jeff.
Have fun.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And sorry about that extra banner being up there during that race. That is my bad. I thought I had that turned off. But apparently I didn't. Warm-ups continue here. Yeah, if anybody's curious, over at WCXRA, we are trying to get together a Races Top Suicide 250. It is a truck race at Daytona. 100 laps. It is broadcasted by Figure Farm TV, and we'll have live race control. So if you're interested, go ahead and see that donation link there in the corner, and there is a link in the description, I believe, over at FFTV. If not, we'll make sure we start putting it in there, as we are only a few weeks away from kicking that race off. Down here through as warm-ups are ending. Watson there in third, Kean back somewhere. Kean Fry for Thunder Valley Racing in the 8 machine. Here's your starting grid here for the main event. There's 12 drivers. Joseph Grundy out there in front. Rick Main there in second. Trevor Garou there third. Clay Christopherson fourth. Sam Bachman fifth. William Watson there sixth. Kean Fry there in seventh. Jeff Barker eighth. Pat Boyce there in ninth. John Dubai in 10th. Jason Coffey there in 11th. Bob the Good in 12th. That is your starting grid there tonight. They get set to roll off here. 30 laps the distance. Sorry about that, Josh. There's some names that throw me for a loop every now and again. Here for the Regal Wraps and Designs Dirt Pro Late Models from Coast to Coast Racing League. Here with the Coast to Coast Racing Network tonight, Thursday Night Thunder, to finish it out here, our main event with the Pro Late Models. Pace cars up. We're about to get our last main event underway here for tonight. Sam Bachman won the first two. Can he come up through the field from fifth and put another one in the books? Well, we'll have to see. But Joseph Grundy's looked really good out there so far. Out there in that 513. Down here in the corner, number one they go. Rick Main out there on the high side, looked quick in his heat too. Got to gather it up though. Ended up a little tad loose. They're coming out of two, working it back down here in the corner number 3. Christopherson there trying to battle it out, and we already have cars around. Pat Boyce, we got one upside down. Pat Boyce upside down in turn 3. Caution flag is out. Jeff Barker, Pat Boyce, and John Dubai all involved. Here we'll watch him here at the back of the pack, the 513 up there at the top. That's Jeff Barker. Work down here, getting in, and he gets just into the back corner. Up and over goes the 41. The 513, I don't know if he towed or if he ended up over the fence. So he ended up towed in. Pat Boyce also towed in. Not quite how you want your night to go. And didn't barely get through 3 laps. Grundy out there in front. Got Trevor Garou there in second. Here for the Real Wrap Designs Dirt Pro Late Models. Working here through turn 4, back here under caution, as we said. And if you pay attention over at Plicaform TV, or possibly if Coast to Coast Racing Network here has asphalt racing, you'll notice on asphalt, most of the time, caution laps count. They do not count here on dirt track. Dirt track only counts green flag racing laps. That is why you kind of saw the scorekeeper up there at the top of your screen, up there against the banner, where the lap number 3 kind of flickered to 4 and then back down to 3 again. Because we're not on lap 4 yet. We've only had 3 laps green flag. There we go, out of turn number 4, green flag in the air. Grandi up on the high side, getting out there in the front as he had lane choice, so he chose the outside. Barker back up here. Wait a moment here, we gotta wait for our thing to work itself out. Barker is not up here towards the front as they work here off of 4. Back down here across the front straightaway. It should get figured out here now. As they're underneath the green flag. As I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, there it went. It got fixed. Barker's down there at the back now. Guru down there on the inside. Trying to get underneath Kristofferson. Kristofferson up there battling for the lead with Grandi. Grandi out there working that race really well. 26 laps to go here with the Coast to Coast Racing League's Thursday Night Thunder. Riggle Wraps and Designs, Pro Late Models. They'll work here off of corner number 4. Kristofferson down there on the inside trying to make that happen. Can't quite get there. They are 3 wide. There you see Bachman down there on the bottom side looking underneath the 187 of Rick Mayne. Rick Mayne with another fast guy there in his heat. Ends up coming back here, sitting about 3rd right now, trying to get underneath of Guru. Guru trying to keep it alive. Ends up there. Now he's going to do the cut down, slide it back up in front of Rick. Rick's going to bring it back down and go underneath of Guru. Now they work down here in the corner number 3. Mayne's going to bring it down there on the bottom side. Hang on to it. Going to try to keep Guru up there on the top side. Mayne got that 3rd spot at the moment. As they work here in the corner number 1 and 2, Mayne still on the bottom side. Guru getting that run on the outside. Getting ahead of him a little bit here in the corner number 3. Bachman still battling down there on the inside if he can. Mayne coming there off the bottom. Guru now has that 3rd spot as they work down here in the corner number 1. Grandi still your leader out front with Kristofferson there following 2nd. Guru there 3rd with Mayne there in 4th. Mayne had to try to gain some momentum back down there on the inside. Will do so a little bit. Trying to stay ahead of William Watson as Watson's back up there to the bumper. Right underneath him there going through 1 and 2. Watson's trying to see if he can get that outside lane to run for him. What a run there on the backstretch to get up there to the 187. We see Kristofferson still looking to try to get underneath of Grandi here through corner number 1 and 2. Running that middle right now. Been doing really well there for Grandi. Grandi was your quickest in qualifying. Laid it out in the heat race. Now he's coming here through your feature event here tonight. In the Pro Late Models down here in the corner number 1. Joseph Grandi out there, as we said, leading the race. William Watson back here, treading around Rick Mayne. Rick Mayne falling back now to 5th. He now gets back there. Sam Bachman's trying to get up there to him as well. Guru there in 3rd, so it does not look like Sam, unless something goes completely correct, he's going to be able to pull the sweep off tonight. That's what we were talking about there. Whenever we were talking to him in victory lane there last race, he was optimistic. He didn't think he would be able to pull the sweep off. He knew that he had both wins in the big blocks, but pulling a sweep off here in the Thursday Night Thunder, it's only something very few drivers have done here at Coast to Coast. And it takes a great driver to know the track in and out with any car pretty much to pull off getting the win in all 3 series. Joseph Grandi, as we said, out there in front. Rick Mayne back here in 6th. Kean Fry in that number 8 Budweiser late model back here in 7th right now. Jason Coffey back there in 8th for RCI. He worked down that front stretch. Just look at Kristofferson. He's all over the back of Grandi. But Grandi hanging on top. Kristofferson looking there. Here comes Guru as Guru's getting up here into the mix now. He's going to see if he can battle there with Kristofferson. And I'm sure that's kind of what Grundy would like to see as Guru and Kristofferson start to battle it out a little bit, as that will slow those two drivers down a little bit. But Kristofferson, he's getting a line there of momentum just a shade under the line that Grundy's running. And he's sticking right there with him. Bachman's trying to get around Watson for that fourth position. Hey, up there all over the racetrack, just trying to find that grip, as we're noticing that all over the racetrack. Drivers trying all kind of lines, trying to find that extra little bit of shove forward off them rear drives as they head down here into corner number 1. Grundy out there still in front as they got Kristofferson and Guru trying to battle it out now. Grundy really pulling away now up there at the top side as we see Guru down there on the inside. Kristofferson trying to hang on to it. Back here you got Bachman, Watson, and Main all working here. Work down here through turn 1 and 2. Kean back here in 7th. Pat Boyce joined by Jason Coffey back here 8th through 11th. Or 8th through 10th, I'm sorry. Barker is a lap down. Bob the Good did not come out here to make the race. 10 laps to go. Grundy comes out of turn number 4. Kristofferson trying to dig it back in there. Slowly reeling them back in, but does he have enough? That's about a half a second gap between the top 3. Rick Main has crashed. Caution is out. Rick Main took a bad spill there. That's going to end his night. There you see Rick Main working there up at the top side, that top side wall. Bring him in. He ends up there to the top, and it ends up there just across the top of the speedway. And it just destroyed the front end and back of that car. Oh. Rick Main out of this one. 9 laps to go here in the main event of the Pro Late Models. Everybody doing a great job here tonight. We said 9 laps to go for your Pro Late Model feature. These guys roll here off of turn 4. Pace car is in. We're a single file restart with Grundy out front, getting that position, working hard to keep it. Up there on the top side out of turn 3. Then you'll watch them drop down here out of turn 4 to try to gain that line. Here they go down through into corner number 1. Joseph Grundy out there in front. Trevor Guru there in 2nd. Kristofferson there 3rd. Bachman back here in 4th as they head it on down here. There goes Guru down here. He's going to battle it out here. 3 wide almost for 2nd through 4th as they head on down into corner number 1. Guru and Kristofferson battling it out. That's kind of what Grundy wants to hear about in his mirror, or in his ears as much. I don't know if these drivers are running mirrors or not. As they run down here out of corner number 1. Most of the time, real dirt track racing does not use mirrors. So I'm one of those guys here on the sim. I turn my mirrors off. So unless a car has the mirrors, I don't have mirrors. Down here through turn 3 and 4, I do a lot with my hearing, making sure I hear what's around me. Bachman down there on the inside. As they work here, 5 laps to go. Kristofferson way up there. You can see that car bouncing around. Bachman's there in third. Guru trying to get up there, down there in the corner number 3. Guru up into the outside walls. They work out here. Off the corner. Guru now to the inside of Bachman as he's going to try to bring it on in there. And get a good run there. Cannot quite get it as Bachman's up there on the top side of the speedway. Here comes Bachman diving it down there to the inside. Cannot quite get anything to happen there. As they head off of turn number 4. 3 laps to go for Grandi out front. There you see Guru trying to slide that sucker in there. He battles Watson back here in 4th now. Guru falls back into 5th. There goes Bachman down there to the inside. He slides up the racetrack. Grandi still holds off that top. Just see Kristofferson there in 2nd. Full Throttle Motorsports there. Sam Bachman trying to hang on. You got Clay Kristofferson there. Horizon Sim Sports driver, though, Joseph Grandi, out there in front. They dive down here in the corner number 1 once again. Here comes Watson. Watson now gets up into the top 3, possibly. He battles it out here. Final lap here. Grandi's out front. Here comes Watson down there on the inside. Who's going to be coming here off the corner? It looks like Bachman's there in 4th. Trevor Guru in the 3rd. They come there off the corner. Great job there by these drivers tonight, putting on quite the show. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed it so far, as we now are getting with the winners. We see there comes Joseph Grandi. He's going to bring it around here into victory lane. Great job there by these drivers. All right. Well, we got Trevor Guru here, our 3rd place finisher. Good evening, Trevor. How's it going?
Good, yourself?
It's going well. You got up there in the 3rd, holding off Bachman there for that spot.
Yeah, it's the track was a bit weird tonight. It would kind of, bottom and middle were able to hold their own against the top and kind of ran there for the most part, and then kind of decided, it was probably time to move to the top. It was definitely faster up there, but either way, 3 podiums tonight, so we'll definitely take it.
Yeah, you did a great job out there all night long. I mean, this track, it changed so much as the night went on, and I don't know if these cars, if you still felt the bumps as bad in these as you did in the modifieds.
No, honestly, not at all. I didn't feel them nearly as much as the 358s or the big blocks. The track was definitely a little better. It was still like treacherous up top, just because sometimes it's just like you kind of, there's always that bump going into 1, I think it is, and you just hit that wrong and you're going in the wall. But all throughout the corner on top, it was just much better, easier to keep the car straight through the middle, keep the momentum up and whatnot. So I mean, yeah.
You followed Bachman for a long time, and I didn't quite catch it myself as we were focused on all kind of different things here, but you did a great job getting that car up into 3rd. You got sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for getting that up into 3rd place?
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to first and foremost give a shout-out to Joseph Grandy, great run, another win in the pro lakes for him. He's tough to beat in these things, man. It's he's got a lot of skill. So props to him for the win. Just want to thank and give a shout out to all the boys at FTM, Clay, Sam, William, all good runs tonight for the boys. Give a shout out to Big Tim Race Wraps for this race car. Really enjoying this wrap. It's I think it's one of the nicest cars I've had in a while. So shout out to Big Tim Race Wraps, Dean Reynolds with the Super Dirt Car Series, Expert Installation, Sam Maconda Sets, everybody who puts this stuff on. Correct me if I'm wrong, Fleeger, but you sponsor the Pro Lake, so thank you for doing that for us. We really appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's it. Just gonna look forward to Monday next week now for the Open 358s.
Alrighty, and we got championship week next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it's week number 12, so that should be championship week, like I said, if I'm not mistaken. So, good luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that was Trevor Guru, our third place finisher. We'll get to victory lane here with Joseph, as I don't see Clay around. Good evening here, Joe. How's it going?
Not too bad. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing really well. How'd that 518 feel out there in the lead tonight?
Felt good. Fairly confident at that track, especially once it moved up top. When that caution came out, my car didn't feel the same once we went green. I had a couple of close calls there against the wall, but gathered it back up and got the victory.
It definitely looked like it had a great drive out there. And
yeah, Port Royal, I don't really like the track that much, but I'm good at it for whatever reason.
that seems to be something. I know there's some tracks where I might not particularly like, but I drive okay at.
Yeah, I prefer small bull rings.
Yeah, you like the bull rings.
Oh yeah, I like nice close racing.
Yeah, I can't do bull rings too well. I can't seem to rotate the cars enough.
Yeah, just give it a quick jerk to the right and to the left, it'll get you turned.
Alrighty, well, congrats there again, getting that win tonight from Victory Lane. You got any sponsors, shout-outs, anybody you want to thank for that victory tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to thank Cadillac Recovery, all the guys over at RMDB, all the guys at RTV, Highland Cinematography, Mad Rabbit, Hinkle Homes, my girlfriend Olivia for putting up with my habit, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and appreciate me for the broadcast.
All right, well, congrats, and we'll see what it holds for you next week as Championship Week Cup rolls around next week.
All right, man, have a good one.
All righty, congrats again. Out of Victory Lane, that is Joseph Grundy getting the win here tonight in that 518. We're going to be, almost forgot, we need to go ahead and let you guys know where everybody else finished. So here's your feature breakdown. Joseph Grundy, as we said, getting the win here in the Wrinkle Wraps and Designs Dirt Pro Late Models. Clay Christopherson there in second. Trevor Guru there third. Sam Bachman fourth. William Watson fifth. Kean Fry there in sixth. Pat Boyce there in seventh. John DeBye there in eighth. Jason Coffey finishes tonight in ninth with Jeff Barker in 10th. Rick Main in 11th with Bob the Good finishing tonight in 12th. That is your field of drivers here finishing your last main event here for the Coast to Coast Racing Network and the Thursday Night Thunder from the Coast to Coast Racing League. Thank you all for watching. Have yourself a great night, and we'll see you next week. We start taking on the championship week here at Coast to Coast Racing Network. it.